Okay, got it. Okay, perfect. Okay. So my name is Katie Winnick. I am the educational sales consultant here at Xello. The way that we are set up, we are in teams. So teams as far as sort of the sales consultants all the way down to our training specialists. So we are well versed in everything Michigan. We do have a heck of a lot of the college and career readiness business with Xello within the state. We have over 85% of districts using Xello. So we have really sort of dug in, honed in on really trying to make it as easy as possible to correlate Xello to the EDP requirements. We've actually gone as far as creating a dedicated Michigan educator help page, resource page on our sort of general help page, and all of the success managers and account managers that would be working with you all have a very deep knowledge of everything and anything Michigan. So what I would like to do today in the 45 minutes-ish that I have is walk you through to the 6 to 12 program. I'm going to sort of give you first a mini overview or a little bit of information on what the educator tools look like. Then we'll dive into the student side, really sort of take you through a journey of an actual person who is kind of going through the career journey of becoming a nurse. So you'll really be able to see how all of the parts of Xello work, as well as how it's all tied into the curriculum. And then all of the sort of how the curriculum supports the EDP requirements that will kind of sit on that educator page. And then also if you decided to use Xello, you'd be working with that success manager to really sort of hone in on the needs of your particular district. Everybody does it a little bit differently. So there's also sort of that wealth of knowledge within Michigan, within the state, that your success manager can share as well. Okay. All right. So I think we're a relatively small group. Really, if you want to ask questions as we move along, I'm not as great as at monitoring the chat when I'm demoing. I'm really kind of into the program. So just feel free to interrupt me. Makes it a little more exciting for me as well. I don't hear my voice sort of droning on and on. Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay. All right. So let me just see. Can everybody now see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So I'm going to log in. Okay. Okay. So this is really what I like to call Command Central for educators. A couple of things that I'll point out before we jump into the student side. Immediately when you come into the program, you're going to be able to see your overall student usage. So you're going to know sort of how often the kids have been coming in to use Xello. You're also going to have your own student demo accounts. So I understand we're kind of looking at 7 to 12 right now. So you will have access to an actual sandbox account that is not tied to your educator data. So you'll be able to go in, take some of the assessments, add some experiences to the timeline, do all of the lessons, look through some of the curriculum without sort of messing up any of the student data. So you'll really then have a very sort of knowledgeable experience of what your students are going through. We've added some sort of quick links, so it's easy for you to kind of get in, assign students, assign different groups, and add actual assignments to the program. Everything though from with the data integration piece of things is done from the back end. So this would be really sort of just add-ons if you really wanted to do it yourself, but you can also reach out to your success manager, and our data integration team, our data services team will do all of that back-end work for you. All of the educator reports are really easy to navigate. The whole purpose of the Xello program when we built it was really keeping in mind ease of use for both educators and students. We really wanted students to be able to go in and kind of hit the ground running without a lot of direction from educators. That would also make it easier for them to kind of want to come back into the program if it was really engaging, and really we tried to mimic what they're doing in their everyday life. But we also understand that it needs to be just as easy for educators to navigate. So we've just created this drop-down menu, which makes it really easy for you to kind of figure out exactly what reports are available. That being said, you will have access to that success manager who will do a complete full-on training with your with a training specialist, and will also then walk you through all of the reports and really sort of help you figure out how to pull all that data. But just as we're moving through the program, just keep in mind that everything that the students are doing, from saved skills, saved interests, storyboard, every piece of work in Xello is reportable on a micro level. So you're going to be able to go in and see everything that that student is doing. So as we're moving through and looking at everything, just keep in mind that you're going to be able to pull that report from a micro level, but you're also then going to be able to pull a ton of reports on a macro level. So you're going to be able to see what each individual student is working on, but you're also going to have access to a plethora of accounts or of reports, so you can see what your whole student body is doing as well. So it really makes it nice then if you're planning a career day, or really kind of looking at those top schools that kids are applying to. What are all the saved interests? It really makes for a really great experience for you to understand what your whole student body is doing. Any questions on what I've kind of talked about just for now? Okay, then we are going to delve in as a 12th grade student to see how Xello works. So similarly to the educator command central, this is student command central. So this is where students are going to come in and see what they've done in Xello and what they have left to do in Xello. So dependent on how you want to set up the scope and sequence for the lesson, which I imagine you will do to meet those EDP requirements, students are going to see in each grade level what lessons they have to complete. Keep in mind that we have created online turnkey CCR curriculum that really each lesson is based in a social and emotional learning framework. So within that CASEL framework, the lessons are self-paced, so they can move through the lessons at their leisure. It really will depend on how you want to execute the curriculum. You may have students just come in and do it on their own. You may incorporate it into some EDP requirements and career development plan requirements within an advisory hour. There's all kinds of different ways that districts will bring in the lessons and bring Xello in to either the classroom environment or a self-paced environment. And again, you will have that success manager to help you out with that. You also have the opportunity to create your online curriculum, so your own custom lessons. And then all of the lessons are going to sit on that dashboard. So if you think of the curriculum as being pushed out, it's being pushed out to every single grade level, the same curriculum. So everybody is going to have a unified curriculum. And then you also have the opportunity to create your own assignments. So assignments can be pushed out to different groups of students. Reporting capabilities are the same for both, but it just gives you some options to either have a lesson that's everybody's going to see, or an assignment that a particular group of students will see. You also can add your own links and resources, so popular links that you want students to be coming to on an everyday sort of regular basis every time they come into Xello. You can add those from the educator side, and each student in that particular grade will see those links and resources.
Katie, can I ask a quick question? I saw
Yeah.
that Road Trip Nation, obviously that was just a link out.
Yeah.
there's not access, you don't have, because I thought Naviance owns Road Trip Nation, or do you have access to that as well?
Yeah, we have access to it as well.
Is that part of the standard, or is that an add-on?
So you would just add this link. So you'd simply go to the educator side of things and you would add that link. I can actually.
Accessing all the resources available through Road Trip Nation, is that part of the Xello package?
Oh, I see. No, this would just be a link that's linking out to it. Yes.
So you'd have to purchase that separately if you wanted to be Road Trip Nation
Yeah.
separate. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So this would be the link out to whatever free resources are available. Okay. Okay. So the way that we've laid out Xello is in 3 parts, and then all of the 3 parts are then tied into that online curriculum, really then creating the connection between what students are doing in the program to the curriculum and the lessons that they're being asked to complete. So the first part of the program is about me. This is all about self-discovery. So for your 7th to 12th graders, they are going to complete 5 assessments. Your 7th and 8th graders will do the first 4. There are 2 interest inventories, a personality style inventory that's based on the Holland Code, and a learning style inventory. So in that learning style assessment, students are going to be, they're going to be a combo of either an auditory, visual, or tactile learner, and then we provide study tips for each of those types of learner. The skills lab is pushed out to your 9th to 12th graders. It is an actual aptitude assessment, and it will actually generate a complete different set of careers for students based on the way that they've answered those questions. As soon as students complete Matchmaker, they're going to be matched to every career in Xello. So all 640 careers, they will be matched to them based on that initial assessment. As they move through and complete the remainder and the balance of the assessments, those matches become further honed in. And the way that the matches are laid out is always from the best match down to the poorest match. And I'll be able to show you a variety of different ways that students can filter through and digest those number of careers that are matched to them. We'll dive back into About Me. There's lots of other fun activities that they'll do, but just to give you a brief explanation of what exploring options look like. So once they have completed and finished all of the assessments, keep in mind that the assessments are also self-paced. They can do them at their own leisure. So they can complete 10 questions, go have a snack, come back. We're really trying to have students really think about the way that they're answering the questions. So we don't want them to have to rush through it in one sitting. But once they're in exploring options, this is where they're going to start looking at all of the career matches, looking at all of the majors that support those careers, and then the schools that offer those majors. So I'll be able to show you in 3 simple clicks how students can actually create a pathway for themselves. What they'll be doing as they're moving through and exploring all of those options, they're going to be saving the careers, saving the schools, saving the majors, so that when they roll into the 3rd part of the program and start connecting all those dots, they're going to be pulling from those saved options to create some pathways for themselves. Xello is very holistic in nature. We want every student to be able to graduate with a pathway coming out of the 12th grade. So we give them 9 starting points. So they can create a pathway for straight to work, for an entrepreneurship pathway, a 2-year college, a 4-year college, a technical school, take a gap year. We're really giving students a lot of options to start those pathways and giving them the opportunity to build as many as they would like. This is also where our 4-year planner sits. So if you choose to use Xello for your 4-year planning, what we do again is all that back end work from your end. We import your online course guide. We set up all of your courses, all of the prerequisites, all of your pathways, all of your graduation requirements, and you can actually have students tracking and choosing their courses within the course planning feature. And then it's going to link back up to your SIS because we are data integrated and you can use it for scheduling purposes. Everything in Xello is included in the per student pricing. If you choose to use Course Planner, great. If you would like to use it perhaps in a second or third year, we can turn it off. It's really up to you how you want to use each of the tools. And then similarly to Course Planner, students are able to manage all of their college applications within Xello. We do have an integration with Common App. We import and export electronic transcripts, letters of recommendation, and local scholarships are all supported within the Xello program. Any questions on the layout and sort of the brief overview of each of the sections?
Nope, we're getting head shakes again, so I think we're
Okay,
keep moving.
great. Okay, so let's go into About Me and take a look at what it has to offer. So again, this is all about self-discovery. So students can go in, they can put in their profile picture, they can change the background. It's going to show up what school they're at, what grade they're in. And this is where they're going to see, after they've done that initial assessment, all of the career matches that have come up for them. We give them an opportunity to really either explore those careers based on the matches, but we also give them other options on how to sort of digest the amount of information that's being presented to them. So we have created some filters. So they can filter by salary, they can filter by demand, career demand, filter by just their matchmaker interests, alphabetically A to Z, or they can go in and add their own filters. So really this gives them the option to start sort of creating their own journey. So they can look at careers based on the salary. They can look at careers based on only 2 or 2-year colleges, based on increasing demand. So you can see as I'm adding in these filters, I'm really honing in the number of careers that are going to be available to me to explore. So again, it's giving them the opportunity to kind of parse down a lot of information that's been presented to them. So similarly to the filters that we apply in careers, we apply sort of a different set of filters, but in similar style, both for the majors and as well as the schools. And then students can go in also and review their answers. So what we want them to do, sorry, I'm keep clicking on the wrong tab. Just give me a second. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
What we really want them to do is have the opportunity to be always coming back to Xello. We don't want them to just complete those assessments and walk away and never think about their answers again. So we give them the opportunity in a really sort of easy way to go in and review their answers. This is also a nice place that a counselor can sit with a student, a parent can sit with a student and go through and look at their answers. And it really also gives them the opportunity to change their answers as they're sort of moving through that particular school year. There's always going to be a question mark to give them a further explanation of what we're really asking, but we're just really wanting them to come back and be constantly reviewing the work that they're doing. So you can see their personality style, the learning styles, the skills lab. So these are all the different assessments that students are going to be completing. There's also clusters. So students can go in, save those clusters, and then explore with a detailed explanation all of the careers within that cluster. You will find that your middle schoolers, so your 7 and 8s, will spend a lot of time in this part of the program. Before they actually, though, go in and complete or start their matchmaker, they're asked to add a goal. So again, this really shows or showcases how holistic Xello is, because again, we're really not sort of just focused on students, particularly having to go to a 4-year college or a 2-year college. If they know for sure they want to pursue an alternate route that doesn't require additional school or training, they can choose that as their goal. If they're not sure yet, they can choose that as their goal, and they can change their goals as they move through the school year. And what that does, or by adding this goal, it really hones in the way that the careers are laid out for them. So if they do choose an alternate route, then all of the careers that don't require additional school or training are going to come up for them first. So we really then want them to kind of see the careers that make the most sense for them. We'll come back to the online resume, but this is the experiences timeline. So this is where students can add any volunteer work, education, or life experiences, where as they're adding in these experiences, we're again asking them to reflect. What did they like about this experience? What did they find challenging? And what did they learn? So as they're moving through high school, and sort of moving from the 7th grade on, these experiences, this timeline is going to become quite full by the time that they reach the 12th grade. We also have a skills and interest board. Again, very holistic in nature. We wanted students to think outside the box, sort of beyond athletics and academics. So we've given them a plethora of different skills to choose from. Everything is color coded. This is a really nice place for an at-risk student to go and kind of really see some of the things that are important sort of as a holistically as a person, and really give them the opportunity to find some things that they might not think that they're so great at, and really start to kind of look at some of those softer skills as well. They can then add interest to their interest board. Again, many different categories that they can choose from. And then finally, we have our storyboard. So this is where they're going to start creating a personal portfolio about themselves. So any article from social media, a Google Doc, a Word doc, anything that they want to start adding to their storyboard to start to tell a story about themselves. The entire Xello profile can be shared out through a letter of recommendation. So they're able to kind of share this as their brag sheet when they're applying to any colleges or universities, share it out to a friend or family member. Parents will have access to the portal by invitation through your SIS. So parents and guardians are going to be able to see everything that you see as an educator, but then students have that opportunity to share out their portfolio as well. All of the portfolios are carried over. So all the work that students do is carried over year. So again, by the time they graduate, they're going to have a series of portfolios that they can share out. So finally, everything that students are working on within About Me can be populated into an online resume. So if students are doing what they should be doing in About Me, they're going to have access to a working resume. So it's not just a simple document. We are giving them, it is more of a study tool, giving them tips on what is a resume, what can it be used for. Always the question, what if I don't have any experience to put on my resume? But as they're working through, they can choose the way that they're laying out the resume, so they can turn off the icons, but it's giving them the opportunity to use the information that they have in Xello. So they can edit all of their education, they can edit all of their skills. They can edit all of their skills. So really, they're going to have access to a customizable resume for any opportunity that they're looking to apply for. Once they've completed it to their liking, they can download it, push it out in a PDF. They can also push it out into a Word document and continue to work on it if they don't want to stay sort of within the Xello profile, but everything will be customizable on that resume. Any questions for About Me?
I do have some questions. I don't know anything about me. So first, there was a few. One question was the skills lab. Was that the aptitudes portion, the skills lab, or was that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
we can go back to that. That's fine. Because I would like to see more about that, but I just wanted to check. So hold on. Well, before we get to that, one of the when it comes to actual careers, there's 3 questions, I guess, in one. career videos, we see a picture, what types of videos you have for kids to do a little bit of deeper dive. Obviously with Road Trip Nation, they can dive deeper with some of the different tools. There's videos to at least learn a little bit more.
Yep.
And so, but the other thing was, I think my biggest concern with Xello in the past has been their algorithm. The algorithm for kids will show that somehow on their list of top 10 they should be a circus rodeo clown.
Mm,
Or they should be a vending machine operator. So
right.
some of the careers, and I've had good counselors to say, listen, let's look at the whole thing and not just one. But I do understand that some of our schools, not only our students, but also our counselors are saying it's hard for our kids to take this seriously when they're getting some of these oddball career options. Not saying, but I mean, it seems like a job and less of a career. I don't know. So could you maybe talk to that algorithm?
Yeah. So what we did, so are you talking about Xello and specifically, Eric, or career cruising?
No, well, that is a good question. I've still heard it's been in Xello, but I'm getting some nods specifically to career cruising back in the day. Maybe it's improved, but I do know some people have said, oh yeah, that's what I get. And maybe because they're associating career cruising was a part of Xello, maybe they still have that on their mind.
Yeah. Okay. So is there another question? And then I'll address all of the questions.
So and it's kind of followed up. I think you said 617 careers. Clearly there's thousands of careers and we couldn't probably tackle all of them, but is that for growing, especially among careers that we know are in demand careers that like, oh, we don't like, there's hundreds just in medical. So maybe it could be a medical transcriptionist, which is a degree or a job right out of high school, but could lead to something else. So I'm thinking a growing option.
Okay. So let me start it backwards while I remember. So the number of careers, yes, the answer is yes. We added another, I think, 35 careers this fall. It is something that is curated on an ongoing basis. So when I first started at Xello about 4 years ago, we had 500 careers and now we have 640. So it is growing, but the list is being curated as well. So if a career is slowly, the demand is going down, and it's declining and it's moving into sort of a career that's going to be obsolete, that career would be removed and then new careers are constantly being added as well.
Totally makes sense.
Okay. And then I will actually address the top matches last. When it comes to videos, actually, you know what? Let me just talk about the skills lab while we're here, and then I can go into a career page. Okay, so this is the skills lab. So these are the questions. So once they've answered the questions, they're going to get, like I said, a separate set of career matches. I'll show you how they kind of tie in together when we get into a career page. These are the types of questions that they would get. So they're going to be able to go in and review their answers. So they're going to have that option similarly to the interest inventories to go in. So actually when the students have the option to either review their answers or reset. If they do reset their matchmaker, it's going to reset their personality style and their 2 interest inventories. But Skills Lab, they have the opportunity to go in and redo the assessment as many times as they want without affecting the way the rest of the assessments without having to redo them as well. So those would be this group. Does that answer your question on what the aptitude assessment looks like?
Yeah, it does a little bit. I guess one of the things that the questions was, so it is an aptitude, it's more of a self-assessment.
Yes.
A true assessment that's going to, we're giving you some assessments and we're going to spit out what we think you are, as opposed to a self-assessment, which is fine. It's just
everything in Xello is self-assessment.
Okay.
So, and then if I address sort of the assessments, so when we created Xello and Career Cruising, so just to let you know, they're completely different platforms. So instead of deciding to sort of go with Career Cruising 2.0, we built Xello from the ground up. So when we built Xello from the ground up, we looked at the assessments, decided they needed to be updated. So we actually purchased a company in the UK called Cascade. They were an assessment-based company. They are now part of Xello. And the reason that we actually decided to go with Cascade is for a very specific reason, and we'll go in, kind of lends well to moving into exploring options. But we went with them because they were the only assessment company that gave the options for students to find out why. So why has this match come up for them? So if, for instance, circus performer or some of those odd, obscure types of careers come up for them, they do have the opportunity as soon as they save it. So they're always going to know, based on the way that they've answered the questions, what type of match it is. So this is a good match in the career of nursing, but they then can go in and find out why. So why is this a good match? So this is where the algorithm is going to pull the way that they've answered their matchmaker questions and their skills lab. So for the 9th to 12th graders, it's going to give them that overall match. And then they're going to be able to go in and explore further. So they're going to, so what it's doing is showing them the way that they've answered the questions on the central and secondary aspects of this particular career. So when they go in, they actually then have the option to review those answers, change those answers. And if they do change enough of those answers, it's going to update that match in real time. But it really gives them the option to go in and explore the way that they've answered the questions, so it makes sense for them why those matches have come up. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. No, that answers the question. Then I think the third one was the video app.
Yeah, so videos. Okay, so we actually made a conscious effort or a conscious decision not to put videos into the program for a couple of reasons. Our research really did indicate that students do learn the best still by reading. So what we've tried to do is create a platform that's really easy for them to get into, has a lot of white space, is appealing, and caters to all different types of learning styles, is written at a 6th grade reading level, is written entirely by our content team, so it has a voice to make it accessible as possible. So in lieu of videos for each of the careers, we opted to go with career interviews. And it really allowed us to be able to control the narrative and really have each career page be very uniform in nature. Again, trying to appeal to all different learning styles. So presenting information on this career, this career interview in different ways. So we have an infographic for the breakdown of activities. So the amount of time they're going to be spending in each career or doing each sort of task within that particular career, as well as what a day in the life would look like. Frequently asked questions and answers. Each career profile will have both a male and a female. So really trying to present non-gender biases for each of those careers. And then there is an audio component as well in that person's real voice.
My advice for someone wishing to
With pros, cons, and advice. So it really allowed for us to control the narrative. It's really hard to kind of keep up to date on videos, to make sure that those links are live, to make sure that it's not a dated kind of picture, to make sure that we're really kind of focused on diversity, gender bias, again, having students really sort of see themselves in particular careers. We've also done that with our, what we call our hero images. This is actually a real person in a real job. So his name is actually Josh. And each of our career profiles is an actual person in that particular career. So that's how we've addressed videos. That being said, you can curate your own set of videos if you like, and add them and attach them to a custom lesson. So if they're, and then you can actually use the sort of plethora of sort of macro data to figure out what those popular careers or those most saved careers would be by pulling some of those reports. And then you can create some custom curriculum or some custom assignments and attach those career videos. Okay. Okay, so now we're on the career page. So we might as well go through everything here. So we've talked about the hero images. We've talked about find out why. There's always going to be salary, what the education training is required to support this career. As soon as I save this match, career cards are going to come up. These will all be grayed out as I'm moving through. As with everything with Xello, everything is grayed out. So all of the tiles in About Me are grayed out. And then as I start moving through and completing different parts of the program, everything comes to life. But this is an example of the way that we've tied in some of the curriculum as well. When you're looking and a student is exploring a career, they really want to consider some of these important factors. This ties back to a 10th grade lesson that we have on lifestyle and career costing. So is this career going to support the type of lifestyle that I'm looking for, the type of money that I would like to earn? Am I going to be able to make a difference in this world? As they're kind of going through and starring this, and again, they can come back and change this at any time. They're really looking to see how well matched they are and decide if they want to even kind of scroll down further and take a look even further of this career and maybe choose a major in a school to support that pathway. There's going to be a brief description, a longer job description, similar careers, the career cluster it's part of. We've talked about the images, or sorry, the interviews. The demand will be there, the core tasks, the workplace environment. If it's suited to my personality style assessment that results, my picture will come up, the working conditions, the earnings. So this will be automatically set to Michigan. However, obviously they can toggle between different states. They can toggle by salary or by wage, a sample career path, and then education and training. So here is where that simple click path takes place. These are all the related majors that support the career of nursing. All of them are hyperlinked. So I can go in, take a look at one of those majors. While I'm on this page, if I like what I see, I can save it. Now I'm going to be able to go in, there's going to be a description, the typical courses that are offered in this major, the related careers, related majors, so I can click out to something else. But now that I'm actually on this majors page, again, this will be defaulted to Michigan, but I'm going to be able to see, again, all hyperlinked, all of the schools in Michigan that support and offer this major. So once I'm in here, I can go in, take a look at one of those particular schools. Now it's going to take me to the school page. I can save this option, and then in essence, I have created a pathway for myself. But now that I'm on this school page, again, we're really trying just by rewriting all of the material to keep it at that 6th grade reading level. We're really trying to just give students enough information without overwhelming them to see if this is a school that they might like to pursue. So they can pull from all the drop-down menus to kind of hone in, or they can just scroll down. They'll be able to see all of the related majors. So all of the majors that are offered at this school, you can see that I've saved registered nursing, the student body, the campus life, the application requirements, as well as costing. So by using some of these drop-down menus, students can actually plug in their own numbers, see what the average grant and scholarship would be offered at this particular school, and it will give them an estimated net price of how much it might cost them to go to this particular school. If they want to delve in further and look further, they can actually go to the net price calculator on that particular school's website. Sports are there, as well as a campus map. I won't drop myself in, but this is basically based on Google Maps. I can drop my Pegman in to any part of the campus and give myself a little virtual tour. So that's what the second part of the program looks like. Any questions?
No. So the question was, does it only do Michigan colleges? And no, I think it defaulted, but you can switch in and expand that view, correct?
That's right, yes.
Yes. So I think it defaults to Michigan just because you're in Michigan for whatever
That's
state
right.
salaries, but then you can
Yeah.
expand search, but that's a good question.
And
Yeah.
then my other question.
Yeah, one other.
Because it has so much reading and we have a large ESL newcomers population, is this available in any other language?
Great question. Yes, yes. And I'm sorry, I did. Normally I do kind of cover that. So it is professionally translated into Spanish from the code up. So really they can actually just click this button and it will translate the entire program into Spanish, and that will be for the parent portal as well. So parents are able to support their students in their own native language. But because it's written by our content team and at a 6th grade reading level, it also translates beautifully into a variety or any other language through Google Translate.
Any other questions? So I will say one piece of feedback, and take this with a grain of salt because it's one school. I met with one school, and some people say, I love the user interface, and other people say, I hate it. But not in terms of not interface, but so much like the look and feel. I remember one school particularly said, oh, our kids thought it was kind of kiddish. But
yeah,
I like that it's kind of meant to be generic, and I get like you're also setting up for 12, but for some that maybe high schoolers thinking it looks too kid friendly. I love the usability, but have you heard that or no?
Oh yeah, we have. Yeah, we have. And really what we've tried to do is we really need to grab them. So we really need to get them in as early as possible and get them interested in the program in the 6th grade. So we've given them options. So the resume building options, they can turn off some of those icons. And we've really just tried to, based on what students are doing in their everyday life, avatars, all the things that they're kind of seeing on social media and all of the platforms that they're working in, we try to just make the program as to cater to them as much as possible. We have heard it, but by the time they kind of get to the 12th grade, we're hoping at that point, or they really will be at that point, really kind of focusing in and honing in on creating those plans and really kind of spending a lot of time in the last part of the program. But we have heard it, but it was a conscious effort based on what students are doing in their everyday life.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so now that we're in goals and plans, let's take a look at what students can do here. So this is where they're connecting all of those dots, right? So everything that they've done in About Me, in exploring options, they're going to come back here. They're going to take a look at all of those saved options to start creating those pathways. So they're going to be able to see all of their saved careers, how they feel about those, all of their saved schools, how they feel about those, and then all of their saved majors. So once they're in there, then they're going to start creating those pathways and setting some goals for themselves. So again, I mentioned very holistic in nature, so they can pick a career path or start sort of that pathway from any of these starting points. Once they're in there, so you can see I've created a few pathways. So I've created a pathway as an electrician, a pathway as a vet technician, straight to work options. So here I'm really looking at a couple of careers or 2 or 3 careers that I might want to explore where I don't have to attend school. In each of those careers or each of those pathways, we give them a basic to-do list. They can add in their own tasks. As they add in their own tasks and start completing that to-do list, they can cross off all of the tasks as they sort of start working on it. They can add different pathways to a pathway, straight to work. So they can add something else if they wanted to within that pathway. They can look at, again, add as many careers as they would like. And then there's always a note-taking portion of it as well. So if we go back to kind of following Josh on his path to become a nurse, we know that there's a couple of different ways that he can get there. So we give them the option to read what a 2-year college profile may look like or a 4-year college, and then he can go in and add some of those colleges that he wants to explore. maybe as a nurse, he might want to explore another sort of similar pathway within that nursing profession. So maybe a mental health nurse might be something he wants to consider. He can add that as well. Again, adding some notes. Yep. Is there a question?
Yeah, no, we're about out of time, but I wanted to ask, there were 3 questions, maybe the highest level, just because I wanted to make sure they were addressed.
Okay.
And then including that last one would be kind of cost for our school system, but work-based learning component. Do you have anything for, as students are doing work-based learning, whether that's job shadows, internships, volunteer experiences, to throw that into this portfolio, number 1. Number 2 would be soft skills lessons. I know you have some, we didn't even get a chance to even talk about that, but that's part of that plan that they can do lessons. Is that part of the package as well? And then number 3 would be kind of overall, what would that cost be? We're looking, I think I told you in your email last night, a 7 through 12, so 7, 8 junior high, 9 through 12. If it's the same cost, giving us the 6th graders, fine, we'll take it. And if it's
Yeah.
a separate cost, then obviously they would probably want to consider just the 7 through 12.
Okay, so work-based learning, yes. So this is our work-based learning component. So in each of the careers, it is an additional cost. If you decide to opt into that, when students come into exploring options, and directly on a career page as well, they're going to see all of the opportunities that exist, and as well as all of the companies that exist for those workplace learning opportunities. Keep in mind, it is a portal, it is a shell. So really, I really only do suggest or recommend that you purchase the work-based learning component if there's somebody that can manage the opportunities, because it is really everything that you put into the program is going to show up for the students, but it is also then going to give them the opportunity, for you the opportunity then to track everything in the work-based learning component for the educator tool. So you are able to export reports through, let me just get over to the educator.
That's my other question is reporting. Anything that you put in here can be exported, right?
Yes. Yeah. So if we go into that, so this would be the portal that you would come into, and then you would be able to pull reports on everything and export them into Excel documents and Word documents. So everything is reportable, yes, but it is really managed by the district. We will upload the first 24 at 5 opportunities and that you give us, and then it will be managed by you. So everything that you're putting in is what the students are going to see on the student side of things. Okay. And then soft skills, yes. So really all of the lessons are based. Oh my goodness, sorry, I'm in the wrong place here. All of the lessons are based, I know we're out of time, so I don't want to sort of fiddle around too much, but all of the lessons have a social and emotional learning framework to them. So they are based in the Castle framework model with a CCR topic. And as students move up the curriculum, they become very sort of specific. So for where they're kind of at in their life. So if you look at a lot of the 10th grade lessons, they're really about resiliency. That's when kind of attitudes start to be changing. So they all have that sort of, they're rooted in that type of framework and then a CCR topic. The 7th, 6th through 8th lessons are really very sort of soft skilled based. So skills, there's a skills lesson, an interest inventory lesson, time management, those type of lessons.
Is that all part of the purchase, or is that?
Yes. Everything is too. We didn't even get to kind of go in and take a look at what that 4-year planning is, but the 4-year planner, the college application tool, everything is included in our per student pricing, which is very different from a lot of the programs out there, what their pricing model is.
Sure.
How about connecting with our SIS? Is that like an API? Is it a single sign-on thing? How is that?
What SIS are you using?
Synergy.
Synergy, yes. Okay, so it is a file transfer in Synergy. So yes, it connects. So if for student information, we just require 2 files. First name, last name, grade level, so we can roster students, and age. And then if you would like to use the 4-year planner, we just require 2 more. So your courses, sort of that shell for the courses with their descriptions, and that online course planner. And then we upload that all in. So it does, yes, it does talk to Synergy, and that gives us the opportunity to carry over the portfolios.
Are you open to any like an API or anything with Synergy?
Yeah, yes. So we have a couple of APIs set up, but we don't have one for Synergy set up right now. That I don't think that there is kind of one on the horizon, but I could talk to and ask what our data services team.
Okay, because I know EduPoint's always willing to work with vendors to do that.
Okay. Okay, so
And then I know there's a lot more to it, but basic costs, what are we talking if we're looking 7 to 12 for a building, the site license, or is there a per hour student cost?
Yes, great question. So we do have a partnership with REMC. Our actual Xello prices have gone up as of February 1st, but due to that wonderful partnership we have, the Michigan prices will remain the same, which is this 15% discount off of our current list price, or our oldest price as of February 1st. It is really dependent on the numbers. So to give pricing, I can email you the pricing, Eric. I just need some enrollment numbers. So I'm making sure that I give you the best pricing possible.
Why don't we give it to you? You can email it to me later, but what's the enrollment at the high school here?
1260,
1260. All right.
Okay.
How many at the junior high?
591.
So we'll say just under 600 at the junior high and 1260 at the high school.
Okay, so then you would then follow, it would definitely be per student pricing. So I can't do math in my head that well. So
Right.
it is 15% off $4.95 for high school, and then $4.25 for middle school. Based on the fact that how many 6th graders approximately?
268.
Okay, so I should be able to just throw in those 6th graders at no cost, so that you really are encompassing your entire student body. And then there are a couple of setup fees. So for the high school, there is an implementation fee per building, or sorry, an implementation fee of $800. And then middle school, it's $400. Those are one-time fees only in the first year. And then there is a DI fee, an annual DI fee of $300 per building.
Okay. And I think you gave me some of it before, and you can give me a pricing sheet later. Oh, it was
Yeah.
$490, you said $490, but then you get the discount, right? $490 plus the discount.
Yeah. So I can create an online quote and send it to you, and everything it's all line items. So you'll be able to see the line items, and then you'll be able to see the first year pricing and then the rollover pricing as well.
Awesome.
What about training if we have staff that leave each year? Is the training
Good question.
a fee each year, or is it ongoing training?
It's ongoing. So with that sort of implementation fee, you do have access, or you are provided with a 1-hour webinar, online webinar. That webinar is recorded. We're really trying, and you're doing that with live data with your educator account setup that we set up for you. And then access to that success manager also means access to additional training. So if you need sort of like a once a year refresher, your success manager will conduct that training for you. We do have a full Xello Academy that has all kinds of training, live webinars, recorded webinars, tips and tricks, as well as that dedicated Michigan help page. It's really a partnership. It's not sort of one and done. You are going to set up a cadence with your success manager on that chosen district lead. so that you are constantly, your goals are being met and we're working together as a partner.
Katie, thank you so much for your time. I know we went over,
okay.
for our team, but also for you, but I know we gotta get ready for the next one, but thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thanks so much. And let me know if there's any other questions. Happy to answer them.
Absolutely.
you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye now.
Take care.